Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is Twit.
I'm Andy Donatko with the Chicago Sun-Times. This is Before You Buy, and this is the new Motorola Moto X 2014 edition. And I gotta say that they've done the one thing that has made me actually want to like this camera, like this phone, because it actually has a decent camera this time. Last year, the original Moto X, so many nice things about it. I was ready to praise it to the skies. I was ready to say, oh, they're doing so many things that are right. And boy, it's a very Apple-like phone, and how they think about how the device has to relate to the person, and they have a long plan and all this sort of stuff. But the camera was terrible. It was just horrible. It broke my heart. There's no way I could take a decent picture with it. And I have cameras that are mediocre cameras. Not every camera can be the Nokia 1020 or the iPhone 5S, but the phone that I have, which is neither one of those things, I can at least take a picture, and it won't be the best photo ever on here, but 30 seconds in iPhoto, and it's wonderful. That's fine. I couldn't save anything with the Moto X's original camera. Fortunately, they fixed that in spades. It really does take good pictures now. And now we can get to every other feature of this phone. Is it more powerful than last year's model? Yes, they've upgraded to the same Snapdragon processor you'll find in other models like the Samsung S5. I'm not a big aficionado of faster processors, because it's not just did you put better silicon in there, it's does that speed actually present itself to the user. And as I was saying before, the fact that they keep the junk off of the software off this phone, I think, is a better boon for not only speed but battery life than anything else. You might also notice that it's a bigger screen, which is something that everybody seems to do every 2 years. Last year's Moto X was a 4.7-inch screen. This one is 5.2, large enough to make it into a big phone. It's not quite as pocketable as it once was, but if you are watching movies on this, that's a definite plus. And the other thing that I haven't mentioned is that now the front-facing camera has been upgraded. Now it actually takes full 1080p HD video from the front-facing camera. I've been shooting some YouTube videos with this over the past 3 or 4 days, and it's really, really nice. The one thing that I'm glad that they kept, though, and this is such a silly thing to point out, is this little dimple in the back there. I would have never guessed before I tried the original Moto X that having a little dimple in the back would change how much you like a phone, but look how easy it is to just tactile orient it in your hand. You don't accidentally have it on upside down. If you need to jog it around in your hand a little bit, you've got this nice little pivot point. If I get the new iPhone 6, I almost want to take it into a machine shop, have a ball peen hammer, just a little tap, just to put a little dent right there, because it's such a wonderful feature. Let's just say that's an aftermarket opportunity for some third-party entrepreneur. There's so many features of this phone, of the Moto X line, that are intangible, of Motorola, because they try to give as pure an Android experience as possible, which means that whereas Samsung might have a much hotter processor, they also load up the phone with so much junk that's stealing CPU cycles that a lot of it just gets burned away in these features that you don't actually use or don't actually need by third-party partners. This is, as you light it up, and it's as close to a stock Android as you can possibly get without spending $600 for a Google Play edition of this device. And the other thing that's nice about this Moto X phone is that it has smart notifications and uses active gestures, where if I take this out of my pocket, for instance, the screen lights up a little bit. You probably won't be able to see it, but the fact that it knows it's been taken out of the pocket means that perhaps I should show just the icon of whatever has given Andy a notification since the last time he checked. If I've got this face up on a table while I'm eating and the screen has darkened, I can simply wave my hand over it, genie-like, and once again, it won't wake up. It will just simply glow a little bit to show me, okay, it looks like I've got a Twitter notification. And if I want to actually see what it is, I can tap on that thing and stroke down, and it will just simply reveal that one notification, all without my having to figure out whether it's worth my taking it off the table or picking it up and that sort of stuff. I also like the motion gestures they do. I use this all the time. Now that there's a camera worth using, it's great to have this feature where you take it out, you just do this, and it automatically launches the camera app and makes it ready for taking pictures. I think that's why last year and this year too, I think of it as the most iPhone-like phone that's out there. Which is not to say that Samsung phones aren't good, which is not to say that other makers aren't good either, but I think Motorola is the only other company that's deciding, let's think this through. Let's think about what the relationship is between this little gadget and the way people use it. Is there something we're not paying attention to? Are we forcing people to tap too many buttons when we can actually save them a lot of trouble? The other nice thing, they've changed the styling a little bit. It's now they say that people were complaining that the original Moto X felt a little bit cheap, so now it has a nice aluminum frame, just like the iPhone 5. They've also added you've always had the ability to customize it with hundreds of different body colors, hundreds of different trim colors. Now they've also added wood and leather to the mix. So this smells like the wallet that my grandmother used to give me every other year for Christmas. The other nice thing is that this is just $99 on contract, which if you compare this to most of the other $99 phones you get out there, it's usually a year old, 2 years old. This is brand new stuff, and it's one of the nicer, not the nicest, but one of the nicer phones I've used. So really, my recommendation has really changed ever since the unveiling of the Moto X. If you asked me what Android phone to buy, I would have to walk you through a whole bunch of decisions because Samsungs, they're nice, but they've got a whole bunch of Samsung-y quirks. And if you've used Samsung devices, you know what I'm talking about. Please don't make me elaborate. HTC has a nice HTC One, but you got to be okay with the idea that it has a very low-resolution camera. Otherwise, it's fabulous. Xperia, also very nice. Really, you have to walk people through. Now I think I finally have a default recommendation for Android phones. I will say if you're interested in Android, get this. It works really great. It's built very well. You'll get updates very, very quickly. And Motorola is a company that I'm convinced really does have a long-range plan for their Android product line, as opposed to just simply wanting to crank out phones. So again, maybe not necessarily the best phone in the world out there, because there's still the iPhone 6 out there to contend with. But boy, it's so great when a phone in one single release stage goes from "there is no way in hell I would visit this upon my worst enemy" to "this is now the phone that I would like to recommend to people if they're not willing to give me more details about how they use phones and what they need." For Before You Buy, I'm Andy Notko. Thanks for watching.